everybody. Welcome to apparently Metallica. No. Welcome to 50/50 Booking, people. On the eve of the worst day of the year. And joining me for this show, like most of our other ones, is Aaron, who of course is part of, who basically is Karen McCullers and saving children. At least that's the goal for this month.
Yeah, for the rest of the month, anyway.
Yeah. So what happens the first day of the next month? Is it literally just bye then?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice. So what we're doing to me, obviously, my flash up your page.
Yeah. Nice and colourful.
Yeah, the Just Giving page. The link will be in the description down below, so you can help contribute towards that. That, of course, is done for a whole bunch of stuff. The primary of which are these Aaron's Twitch streams.
Yep.
Which is pretty much Fortnite, Minecraft, and zombies, isn't it?
Yeah, Cold War zombies.
Yeah. So a lot of time you'll catch Aaron doing various bits and pieces and probably racking up swear jars and stuff because he tends to be quite good at that.
I think I'm only on 3 so far. I may be wrong. Probably am wrong.
There's 2 things about this why Aaron's doesn't have to do more of that. 1, this show does not count towards that sweat jar. And 2, I don't do these Twitch streams with him.
And to glorify that with a response, thank fuck.
Because you know for a fact it would be much worse.
Yeah.
It's not like I deliberately do it, it's just he wouldn't be able to help himself. Because considering what happens on this show, you kind of know.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Cool. So people. Yeah, I've just getting over a throat infection, so that's why the voice is a bit. And every so often I will probably cough, so I'll try and mute that when possible. But if I don't, sorry, I know it's not particularly pleasant.
We can't help being ill.
So, before anyone asks, no, it is not COVID. It is a throat infection. Illnesses existed before COVID did, and will exist afterwards. And I've had enough throat infections to know what they are. And I'm on the tail end of this one, so it's not anywhere I've forgotten. It's just been a bit of a pain in as it goes. So yay.
Is it a limitless throat infection?
Well, it's much more. It's better than a Ronda Rousey throat infection. Because the limitless one will always eventually get to where it needs to be. A Ronda Rousey one is just going to be permanently pissed off and not like the fact it has to kind of suck up to people, despite the fact she hates everyone.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, so yeah, you've got a woman portraying a baby face who actually hates all the fans. That's going to work, isn't it? Said nobody ever.
Yeah.
But as Aaron alluded to, one of the WWE releases, the ones that expired from the November ones, recently turned up on AEW's Dynamite show, and that was Keith Lee.
Yep.
And if anyone saw that, that's what WWE screwed up.
Yeah. Kind of knew that he was going to go for AEW because of his history with Dusty Rhodes.
He's got a lot of history with a lot of people there, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I reckon the minute he did that peel out the corner and Cassidy went flying, I reckon Adam Cole just had like memory shockwaves and like, not again.
Yeah. Crowd surfing without a board.
Yeah.
So involuntary crowd surfing.
Absolutely. But good luck to Keith Lee. There's going to be a lot of good matches for him there. But I still can't believe WWE really screwed that up. How did you screw that?
Well, if it makes you feel any better, Veer still hasn't been made his appearance on Raw this week, and he was on main event again against Dominik Dijakovic. So
yes, this is the fun thing we keep pointing out is he's not been on Raw yet, but he has had main event shows. So
yeah. And this is the second time in 4 weeks that he's faced Dijakovic in a one-on-one match and won.
He's still coming, people.
Yeah. What really weirded me out this week, though, the Hurt Business and the Dirty Dogs were on main event.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the Hurt Business had a bit of a dancing kind of gimmick. Yeah.
Well, bear in mind, obviously, the Dirty Dogs, well, one of them turned up on another show during this week as well.
Yeah.
Which, of course, we are going to touch upon because we do cover that show.
Yeah. Ziggler was doing triple duty this week. But anyway, we should probably get on to Raw. Because kicking things off this week on Raw, we had a quiz bowl between RK Bro and Alpha Academy. We also had a recap of 2 previous academic challenges. Chad Gable explained what the quiz bowl entailed. Then we had 9 different categories. First to 5 points was the rules. First up was US Presidents for the Alpha Academy. They got it right, so it was 1-0. Riddle got his category. Gable got his category. Riddle got his category. Otis went for geography and he got his question right too, which made it 3-2. Orton got it wrong, which made it 4-2. Then Randy got his question right, which made it 4-3. Then Gable got his one wrong. Randy got it right, so it made it 4-4. And then it came to the final challenge, which was metric conversions. And the question was, how many grams are in an ounce? And the question was for Chad Gable, and he got it wrong. And I expected Riddle to answer this one. Don't ask me why. No, Randy did. And he got it right, and he said, "You're not the only one that bakes, bro."
Very true. Very true.
Then Gable had a breakdown because of the buzzer that apparently put him off. Then the Street Profits came out and poked fun at the Academy and ended up getting into a match with them. I mean, overall, this first segment wasn't the worst thing on WWE TV this week, but it was up there.
Yeah, by no means was it the worst. It was definitely much worse.
So, yeah, that led us to a match between the Alpha Academy and the Street Profits. This was an okay match. A good win for the Academy. In a way, you want the champions to look strong ahead of Elimination Chamber or whenever they're going to be defending the titles next. I don't know.
I think there was a defense scheduled for the Saudi show, which of course is Saturday. I think
maybe Orton might get to ride on a camel after all.
I believe that's the plan.
So then there was an Instagram thingy where it showed you the top 10 Instagram pictures of the past week for some reason. No idea why. And then there was an Instagram thingy. No, I just said about that. After the Instagram thingy, we was met in the ring by MVP, who introduced Bobby Lashley as the hometown hero. Then MVP started moaning about the chamber and the chamber match being made last week. Then said Bobby was going to beat everyone in the chamber then Lashley said the champ is here and raised the belt and degraded Lesnar because of his lack of appearances and matches on Raw in the last year. Yeah, this was basically just let's see if we can shit on Lesnar as much as possible.
This was lazy.
Yeah. It was lazy, it was tiring. It got boring after the first 5 minutes, is what it did.
The other issue I have with this as well is that there's been times he could use that excuse on Lesnar, but he's been very present lately as well, so that doesn't really hold up.
And I'm not being funny. When WWE was in the Thunderdome era, Lesnar was in Canada during the middle of a pandemic. There wasn't any way that he could get to America through borders.
Legally he wasn't allowed to travel, so he couldn't have done those anyway.
So, like, he has a valid excuse. Anybody with half a brain cell knows that.
Yeah, so it's a bit weird. But pretty much every show he could be available for, almost Lesnar's turned up to most of them. So
yeah, he's made up coming back as well.
Also, bear in mind he wasn't under contract for a lot of that time either.
Yeah. So yeah, he's made up for it since coming back anyway, because he's been doing like 2 shows a week, if not 1. He's been here. He's not exactly been the ex part-timer.
He probably still is a part-timer, but at the moment he's appearing a lot, so you can't use that doesn't turn up stuff when the guy is literally there every other show.
Yeah, I think the thing is with the fact that they're using him as a face, there's not much he can. He wouldn't be able to miss as many shows as he once did, because then people would start to think, oh yeah, well, we've seen this shit before. With a face, you've got to be present.
It depends on how you do that, because there are ways to make that work. Because faces have gone more periods before with missing being on television, and it works if you do it properly. A lot of that depends on why.
Speaking of things that work properly, next we had an Alexa Bliss segment on her road to recovery. As a recap of what happened, we had a recap, and then what happened this week. We got a bit of a kind of a separation anxiety sort of deal during the segment, and but at the end of this segment, Bliss seemed to be improving, like a little bit, starting to get back to her old ways, maybe.
Yeah, apparently this is going to be a drawn out thing. It's not going to be a quick resolution, from what I understand. I've been told a lot of these segments with Alexa, 8 of them were taped, but they've been cutting them in half to extend them.
Oh God!
So this has been drawn out, apparently.
Well, we had 2 this week, so.
Yeah, so just something to bear in mind for people. There's a good chance this may be going longer than you suspect.
So next we had AJ Styles versus Damian Priest. And I had a few questions about this, namely, how did this come about? Why did this happen? Can we see it again? And why wasn't the title on the line?
I can answer some of that. It was one of those championship contenders jobs.
That wasn't on the audit.
I checked with WWE's actual information. It is a championship contenders match.
I mean, it was new and it was interesting to watch and made me as a fan excited, because these are 2 of the best wrestlers and workers in WWE right now in the ring together. Why not?
Yeah, it's certainly not the worst idea. I mean, when it comes to things like these sort of matches where you have a champion like this, have some of the matches, try to look into that because in case there's a reason why. Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as I can understand, it was obviously to give him a match. And if you call it a championship contenders match, it's a case of the title's not on the line and Styles could potentially get a shot down the line, but they don't have to do it because that's the point of the contenders match. It's not obligatory title shot.
Yeah, I mean, they went at it though. It was strike for strike, reversal for reversal. It was an interesting match. It was the one match I think this week that I actually was glued to and like happily watched.
Certainly for all ones, I can believe that.
Yeah. However, AJ winning was a bit controversial, maybe.
If you want AJ to actually challenge him for the belt, then I understand this. But other than that, it's a bit weird.
I mean, it would have been an open challenge, in my opinion. Because even if you had AJ hold the belt for a couple of weeks and then give it back to Priest, that would work.
It could work, yeah, but that seems not to be their thinking at the moment. They don't seem to be wanting to be doing quick changes.
Yeah, they could build this feud into like a huge feud and have a match at Mania for the belt.
Yeah, it may end up going that way, but
I mean, this was like a WrestleMania caliber match, to be fair, and it was in the first 40 minutes of the program.
Yeah,
and this is a 3-hour show, like.
Probably more like 2.5 hours when you bear in mind all the adverts, but yeah.
Yeah. Then we had something. We had a SmackDown breakdown, and that's what it was actually called. Basically, show about of the Universal title picture and the Ronda Rousey picture, and yeah, it was just. We also found out that there'd be a Raw Women's Championship #1 contenders match at the Elimination Chamber to decide who fights Becky Lynch or Lita at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not opposed to this. It's just it seems lazy.
It is.
Yeah.
Because honestly, if you're going to have a #1 contenders match, right, and it's at the Chamber, have a bit of Chamber match.
Yeah, it's not great.
The thing is that the reason why I don't think they would have done that is simply because of it. There's a good chance in a chamber match, if a woman's going to end up getting hit with a cage, it might end up ripping her costumes, and of course they're supposed to be fully clothed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing it might risk ripping their attire.
Yep. And you could probably see WWE getting stuck in Saudi again. I mean, like, I'm sure they can just leave Sami Zayn behind to take care of the SmackDown side of things if that does happen again, because obviously he can't go to Saudi.
There is that, yeah.
Why we're having the Intercontinental Championship match this week, I believe, on SmackDown.
Yeah.
And not in Jeddah, sorry. Because Syrians are not allowed in Saudi Arabia, and Sami is of Syrian descent.
Yeah, and that's a big no-no for people who are unaware of the situation. there are certain people the Saudis do not like or recognize, and Syrians are part of those, and Sammy's of Syrian descent. So.
Yeah. Next up, we had KO and Seth Rollins in a segment, which was okay. KO basically got set on Theory because he wanted his spot in the Elimination Chamber back, which he didn't actually have in the first place, but contended for against Theory and lost. So it made sense, and it was an okay segment, kind of funny as well. Then we had Miz TV featuring Maurice with special guest The Mysterios. Miz apparently wanted to clear the air and showed the match footage from last week, being Miz versus Dominic, which meant reviewing Miz using his acting skills to get Ray ejected from the ringside, with Miz getting the victory shortly afterwards. Miz had a mini breakdown because the audience chanted cheater, and turns out, unsurprisingly, Miz was jealous of Ray being on the cover of 2K22. And then Miz said, Dom, you're taller than Ray, and asked if he was Eddie's son. So Dom held back an angry Ray, turned round and dropped Miz, and said, let's fight right now. So we got the rematch of Dominic versus The Miz. The rematch started in picture-in-picture, so I automatically lost interest. And then after that, quick turnaround is fair play, and Dominic won with a really good roll-up.
Yeah, Aaron loves picture, for those of you who don't know.
So after that, we had Bianca Belair versus Nikki Cross. An okay match, and Belair won, so no problems there. These are both women that are going to be featured in the Elimination Chamber as well. So there is that, trying to get a bit of hype in there. Then we have the 24/7 Championship segment. Dana and Reggie almost kissed, and so they're possibly going to be trying to make them a thing. I don't know. And I'm just waiting for the betrayal of Reggie on Dana. That's what I reckon is going to happen.
I wouldn't be surprised, but to be honest, this was dumb.
No, it's pretty dumb. So after that, we had Kevin Owens versus Austin Theory. Theory's new music was weird and not really my cup of tea, to be honest. But also, I don't think it suits his character either.
I can't really speak to it. I didn't hear his music.
It wasn't the best. But yeah, it just, in my opinion, the kind of music that it was, it didn't suit his character.
What is his character?
I don't know, really. He doesn't really have one.
That's kind of my point.
Vince McMahon's sock puppet.
It's as good as description as any, I guess.
Seth McMahon's hand comes out cleanly. Anyway, so it was a good match and a cool ending and a win for Owens. So of course this led Owens to believe that he should be in the Elimination Chamber.
Just a sec, I'm going to interview Austin Theory. Hang. Hi Austin, how are you?
Man, how you doing?
Really? So how is Vince's backside?
It's dark, it's cold, but it's some good shit.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm back to Aaron.
Thank you for that, Austin Theory. So, next we have a RK Bro segment with Randy giving Riddle some advice on Seth Rollins. which is okay to be suspected. Was it useful? Not really. We then had a Lita segment. We also got a replay of what happened last week. Then a promo from Lita about being excited to be back and looking forward to facing Lynch and Becky. Facing Lynch, and Becky came out and said that there can't be a Lita when there's a Lynch. And Becky said she'll beat Lita, no problem. Becky tried to attack Lita and got the upper hand, went to leave, turned back to hurt Lita some more, and ended up being hit with a twist of fate and a Lita assault too. I mean, it was what it was. It was pretty bad. And this is bad for Becky as well, because Becky's like, I know Becky's supposed to be heel right now, but it makes her look bad. Like, bad as in generally bad, not bad as in...
Yeah, I think the big issue with this is when you got a thing like this and you've got an opponent, even if you're the heel, you're supposed to still make your opponent look good, but just be very clear that you're better. Because if you're telling everyone your opponent isn't worth shit, if that person then beats you,
you're fucked.
Yeah. And the WWE book people, I won't put it past them.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, I don't think this persona that they've given Becky suits her.
No. I don't either.
You could turn a heel and do it a different way, but this particular way doesn't work. So there you go, really. Do I still think Becky will probably beat her? Yeah.
More than likely. Next, we had a Kevin Owens segment, which was him basically begging Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville to put him in the chamber match because he'd just beaten one of the chamber participants. They said no. And he kind of had a breakdown about how he really, 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 really wants to be at Mania. And that was the end of the segment.
I believe it was a reference to the good people of Texas or Dallas need me to be there to represent them or some bollocks like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're
even though he's Canadian.
Yeah, it's...
I think it's more the fact that he uses a stunner and a certain other Texan does too.
Booker T doesn't use a stunner.
Hmm.
Dusty Rhodes didn't use a stunner.
The Undertaker didn't use a stunner.
There you go. Yeah. Layfield didn't use a stunner. There is more.
There is, but my mind's gone blank.
Yeah, we're making a point of not naming the person that we actually are referring to because you know that.
Hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I meant Barry Windham. Who's you talking about?
What?
I was on about Barry Windham. Who are you talking about?
What? What?
What?
What?
What?
What?
What?
What?
What?
What?
What?
What?
What? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are having a what off.
What?
What? Although for the sanity of the listeners and the viewers, we should probably stop.
We might be here for a while. Let me just like.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, but again, this is a case of as Owens, there's no reason for you to do this. This is dumb. I mean, possibly try and get put in the Chamber match. I understand that, but you don't need to go on and on about it like you did.
And that's the bottom line, because Peter said so.
Oh, hell yeah.
So next we had Liv Morgan versus Piper Niven. A good match and a win for Piper. We then got another Bliss segment, and Bliss seemed a little bit more like herself. And she seems better until the last part. I'm starting to get bored of this, though, to be honest.
And apparently there's a lot more of them to go, so.
Yay! Sequels! Said every Star Wars fan. Never.
Oh, I have so many thoughts on all that stuff, but yeah, look, this is not the place for that.
So, after this, we had Rollins pre-match segment, and it was pretty much just Rollins hype that made no sense because, well, Rollins. And then the main event was Rollins versus Riddle. A great match with lots of good moments, and was probably going to be one of the best matches in WWE this week until Kevin Owens attacked Riddle, which brought out Randy Orton and turned this into a tag match that made absolutely no sense, to courtesy of Adam Pearce, or should I say the modern day Teddy Long. Holla holla. But for some reason, on top of all that, RK Bro lost to Rollins and Owens in a tag match.
Three things. One, that singles match, what do you think it is listed as the result?
No contest?
Correct. Secondly, you're beating the team that are now the number one contest for your tag team championships. And thirdly, what are you building to here? Mm-hmm.
This just made no sense. They've just had this quiz bowl bullshit and the scooter race and all that shit just so RK Bro could get another tag team title match. To be beaten by two singles competitors in a one-off tag match.
I've just thought of a full thing, by the way. Adam Pearce, right? We're just lucky, right? He didn't do the other Teddy Long thing because obviously it's usually tag matches, or you'd have to go
one in a match with the Undertaker.
There you go. You can just imagine the Undertaker sat back there, and then he hears that from Adam Pearce. He's thinking, "What?"
Yeah, it's one of them.
But yeah, that was this week's Raw.
Yes, that was this week's 3 out of 10 fucking Raw.
What? That much?
I liked the Priest and AJ match, and I liked the start of the main event until it got turned into a fucking tag match.
Okay, that's fair enough.
And to be honest, even though the Alexa thing seems like it's going to get boring, it's not boring yet. If that makes sense.
That was my audio representation, and the visual representation today is NXT 2.0.
Tis. What? No, sorry. I had some raw stuck in my throat still.
Just had to clear some bile out my throat that was left over from Raw's Raw matches.
I picked the wrong time to eat my food. Oh well.
However, if you guys didn't catch the beginning of the show, you'll know why. But I keep doing that.
Was it the fact that it opened up with a Mandy Rose promo package?
Sorry, that was the sick bucket that time. But
Yikes. My leg keeps going to sleep and I don't like it.
that was me during Mandy Rose's promo segment.
I think that was half the world during Mandy Rose's promo segment.
I sympathise with those people.
I sympathise for them. What would have been funnier is if we'd have had the camera pointed at Wade Barrett during this, just to see him draw a little bit.
It may be a controversial opinion, but I don't think she's that good looking.
That makes two of us.
Don't get me wrong, I can see why some people might find she's pretty, but I personally don't find her good looking.
I would also like to take this opportunity to say, I like both genders and I don't even find her attractive.
Yeah. But to be fair, she may not find either one of us attractive either, and that's cool too.
Don't care.
You're probably much more her type than I would be, though.
Yeah, a charity case, like I was.
Got it, did you? Yeah.
You're hairier than I am. I think you're more her type.
Yeah, but I'm also not a charity case.
I'm not either. I just do the charity cases.
Wow. Next time
I did not mean it like that.
Do you take this charity case to be a lawfully wedded wife to have a told for rich and poor in sickness and in health?
Oh, Jesus
You're so lucky that she's not on the after show.
So anyway, NXT kicked off with Creeds versus GYV in the semi-final of the Dusty Cup Classic. The Creeds kind of rattled GYV before the match had even started, which made GYV seem to be a little off their game. But a little bit later, they were back to normal. But to be honest, it didn't really change much until they slingshotted one of the Creeds into the bottom of the ring, which changed the dynamic a bit. But the result was inevitable, and Diamond Mine won. Again, the GYV gets screwed. Anybody surprised? No. So, Next, we got Raquel Gonzalez and Cora Jade segment, which was okay. Heat with the other team before the Women's Dusty Classic, to be expected. And actually encouraged, to be honest, because the women's division, tag-wise, is pretty damn dead. But next we had Peter's favourite part of the show. We had Wendy Chu versus Tiffany Stratton. No?
Who won, dummy?
Yeah, but you got to see Wendy Chu.
Yeah, but I wanted to win these matches. I don't want to lose it, especially to Tiffany Stratton, who's had like 2 matches.
Yeah, this was revenge apparently for Wendy Chu maxing out Stratton's credit card and throwing it in the bin over the past week.
Yeah, I do like the fact that NXT don't seem to understand how like the law works, and using people's credit cards as stealing is actually a criminal offence.
They seem to be a little bit of a grey area. But this match was okay. It heated up after Chu broke Stratton's nail, which added a little bit of a realistic side of things to the match, I guess you could say. But yeah, after Stratton's nail broke, it kind of flipped a switch, and we saw a bit of a aggressive side of Stratton. And yeah, it caused her to win. So it handed Wendy Chu her first loss. Then we had a Draco Anthony and Joe Gacy segment, which was interesting, but it kind of followed on later on. Then we had Pete Dunne and Draco Anthony in a pre-match segment where Draco said to Pete that he respected him, and Pete Dunne turned around and said he didn't care, he was still going to snap his fingers. Classic Pete Dunne. So then we got Pete Dunne versus Draco Anthony. Now, I'm not going to lie, Draco Anthony seems to be having a bit of a trial by fire since coming to NXT, because his first match was against Andre Chase, of which he lost, and now he's facing the baddest man in NXT. Like, for some reason, they either don't like Tony. They either don't like Draco Anthony, or he's just good at putting people over. So, yeah, anyway, Pete Dunne won this match with Gacy and Harland looking on the gantry. So there could be a future team there between Harland and Draco, possibly, or some amalgamation of those two teams together. But afterwards, Pete Dunne challenged Tony D'Angelo to a weaponized steel cage match. And he said yes. Is anybody else could point out the fact that the weaponized steel cage is basically an asylum match that Ambrose did? But I guess we'll see. Have to wait and see what it looks like next week.
It's more likely that because they don't have original ideas.
The only other thing I can kind of think about is the steel cage that Ciampa and Gargano had. The steel cage match that was like 3 falls for the NXT Championship. Or was that... No, it was Johnny and Adam Cole.
It was Johnny and Cole.
First one was a straight-up wrestling match. Second one was a straight fight. And the third one was Regal's stipulation. And it was in like a steel cage covered in weapons all around the inside.
Yeah, that was Cole and Gargano.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that's going to be the thing that returns next week.
Quite likely.
I do like the fact that Pete Dunne's using a cricket bat.
But I bet that confuses a lot of Americans not knowing what cricket actually is.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
The commentators probably didn't even know what it was until somebody had to explain to them what it was.
Wade Barrett would.
Yeah, but he's a moron.
This is true.
The guy draws over Mandy Rose. What the hell are you going to think?
So, after this, we had the Io Shirai and Zoe Stark segment where they talked about getting Io a new tag team partner to replace Shirai. Io a new tag team partner to replace Stark because Stark is still injured.
Yeah.
Stark turned around and said, "We need somebody as crazy as you. We need somebody as high flying as you. We need somebody as lonely as you." Io stood up and says, "I know who to ask." Stark says, "Are you going to tell me?" And Io says, "No," and leaves. This was a good segment. This was in character. This was good. But we still didn't know who that person was.
To be fair, we're not meant to. That's kind of the point here.
Yeah.
She clearly has somebody in mind. We're not supposed to know who it is. And I'm guessing it's supposed to be like a, ooh, I can't believe it's that person deal.
Oh, we found out later on in the show.
Yeah, but I think that was that. My point is that I'm pretty sure that's what the intent of this was.
Yeah. Next we had Sanga versus LA Knight. I like Sanga's entrance music, but I'm sorry. All I saw after the bell rang was a different Pokemon variant of Braun Strowman in the ring. Sorry, it's legit like Braun Strowman is the Johto version of a Pokemon, and Sanga is just like the Alolan version of the same Pokemon. Their in-ring skill was exactly the same.
You need to explain that for people who don't understand Pokemon.
So, in Pokemon, there's different regions. You've got the Johto region, which is where it all started off with Bulbasaur, Pikachu, Charmander, and then after that series had ended, they moved on to another one, and then another one, and different places had different Pokemon. But once you got to, I think it was Alola, the Alolan region, so Pokemon Sun and Moon, you had the same Pokemon from Johto and Sinnoh and a few other places, but they looked completely different because they were in a different country.
So essentially, it was just basically, it's a case of it's just Braun Strowman, but he looks different.
Yeah.
Cool. Because obviously the Pokemon fans would have got the reference, but there's probably a lot of people who don't follow Pokemon, so it's best to explain for those people.
Yeah. But yeah, every time I looked at him it was literally all I could see was Braun Strowman. And the ring gear didn't help either because it reminded me of his ring gear from Extreme Rules.
You do realise that every sort of biggish person is generally booked that way.
Yeah, what made things worse was LA Knight beat him.
Yeah, dummy, yeah.
Yeah. And now I've lost all interest in Sanga. So, yeah. Next we had the NXT Championship Summit hosted by Wade Barrett. This was probably the best part of the show, to be fair. She had Braun Breaker, Santos Escobar, and the rest of Legado answer questions, but weirdly, after the first question, Dolph Ziggler's music hit. And there's been some heat between Breaker and Ziggler on Twitter. Ziggler works Tuesdays now, though, apparently. And he asked who Braun Breaker was. So this opened the door for some questions and some confrontation. But as Ziggler was hitting gold on the microphone like it was 2006 again, Tommaso Ciampa came out and tried to get in Ziggler's way. Santos asked what the hell was going on. Tommaso threatened and told him to shut up. Then Ziggler said, when does it end for Tommaso Ciampa? When does the helmets and the knee pads come off and the training end? And, of course, that broke Ciampa's, sanity streak, I guess, and he went after Ziggler. And, Ziggler got a boot to the face courtesy of Ciampa, and the Summit broke down after that. A 3-on-1 almost didn't work out too well for Legado, but ended up with Breakker being put through the table in the middle of the ring. And that was the Championship Summit. And next we had Kaylee Ray doing a happy segment because she was getting her match this week. Waller segment, apparently Knight will be arrested next week for breaking the restraining order. That does work both ways legally, but apparently not in NXT. So,
also, to explain this very clearly, you don't wait a week to arrest someone for breaking the order. If somebody breaks a restraining order,
you get them then.
The minute you report them, they'll go and arrest them then. They won't wait a week for them to run away or possibly leave the country.
Yep.
Look at all those high-profile stalking cases where they've had these things in place, and that's why.
Yeah. So next we had. Hello. Next we had Saraya versus Dakota Kai. The first 8 minutes or so was in picture-in-picture, which sucked. And when we was out of that hell, Dakota was in full control of Saraya. This was okay. Was an okay match. It was something new, but no real reason or backstory to it for it to happen. Again, WWE booking for you. But one sunset drop kick and a sunrise, so a suplex later, and Saraya was victorious. Then we had Mello and Trick in a segment, which was good for hyping up next week's title match between him and Cameron Grimes. We then had Indy Emperor and Toxic Attraction in a segment, which led to a brawl too. We then also had Nikita Lyons' future debut given to us in a bit of a package. And to be honest, it actually looked good. Looked pretty cool and promising. It'll be interesting to see what Nikita Lyons is capable of. I don't know whether or not she's from any of the previous promotions or whether or not she's an actual...
I've not looked into it, but I can do.
No, I've not looked into it either, to be fair. I've been quite busy. Then we had Briggs and Jensen and Caden Carter in a segment, which was funny, but it just seems a bit... It's getting boring. It's a bit sitcom-y now with these four people. We're seeing it every week. There's like a relationship that isn't a relationship kind of there, but isn't thing between, I think it's Jensen and Carter. Yeah, Carter. But, yeah, it's just a new index thing more than anything, and it's just... We don't need a love story to get us through our Tuesday evenings. Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. Then, in that case, according to what I'm looking at, she's also a recording artist. She's called Faithy J.
All right.
So she's... here's the thing. She's got some pretty decent things there. She's a black belt in Taekwondo. She's an MMA kickboxing coach.
Mm-hmm.
Choreographer, a model, author, and an actress.
So in other words, she could give Mandy Rose a run for her money.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say from what I'm seeing here, from the information, she looks what I would say would be the real deal. She looks legitimate as opposed to some people you get.
Mm-hmm.
She also has an IMDb page, which for anyone who doesn't know what the significance of that means, it means that she has film credits.
Multiple film credits. You can't have an IMDb page for one film.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, I know a lot of people who have IMDb pages. So yeah. Let's see. Just having a quick look through here. There's a lot of stuff for charities as well.
Oh, that's up my alley.
Anti-bullying advocate.
Nice.
Let's see. Just her music available on all major platforms. So her music's actually available on like Spotify and iTunes and stuff like that if you want to listen to it.
Cool.
So yeah, she is out there.
Nice.
There you go. Here's one for you, right? You know, Americans have something called a Sweet 16 thing, like because it's a big thing for them, right? Hers, and this struck me because you'll like this, right? For her sweet 16th birthday, right? Instead of receiving gifts, right, which is a normal thing, right? She held a sneaker ball event to benefit the shoe crew, raising over $2,000 for the cause. 100% of the proceeds went directly to the charity.
Wow, that's really cool.
And that's at 16 years old.
Nice.
So, yeah. So, Lee seems to be a decent person, which is never a bad thing. Looks forward to see what she actually does in the ring, though. I haven't seen her wrestle.
No, yeah. So, after the Nikita Lyons segment, I've already touched on the Briggs and Jensen, Caden Carter thing, but it is what it is. Then we had MSK versus Malik Blade and Andreas Inoue.
Mm-hmm.
Semi-final of the Dusty Cup. I didn't mind who won this match, to be honest. To me, it didn't matter because, well, the Creed brothers were already in the final. So this just felt like a battle for second place.
The other problem you have is it's also two faces teams as well.
Yeah, and not to knock these teams, it's just a shout to WWE and the predictive writing. And let's face it, the Creeds have been the flavour of the month since they hit the scene.
Mm-hmm.
But what didn't help keep me interested was another long-ass picture-in-picture break.
Aaron's favourite.
But anyway, MSK won. Just like it was very cool. I thought that was going to be the end of the show, but no, we had Cameron Grimes in a segment, which was good and humble for Grimes to like show us where he came from and how he started off. Didn't have a problem with it, especially with the title match coming up. Then we had a Dakota segment, which was weird. Wendy Chu walked away. It just seemed kind of pointless. Then we had Toxic Attraction, who got attacked by Indy and Peralta, leaving Mandy alone for the main event, which was Mandy Rose versus KLR for the Women's NXT Championship. Halfway through the match, Mackenzie told us that Indy and Peralta and the rest of Toxic Attraction had been removed from the building. But 5 minutes later, there was a distraction by the rest of Toxic Attraction that cost KLR the win, and Toxic Attraction went to attack KLR with her bat, but Io Shirai appeared and helped her. Well, you can probably kind of guess who Shirai's new tag team partner will be.
The Bat.
Yes, the bat, of course. It's green like her makeup.
It's WWE booking, so it'll be the Bat.
Mm-hmm.
Also, don't tell us that everyone's been kicked out of the building and 5 minutes later have those same people then get involved in the match.
Thank you.
Fucking dumb.
Dumb shit.
All you're telling us is that the security in that building apparently can't do their job, and that looks really bad on them. Because that's not WWE security at that point. That's the people who actually secure the building. Different thing, that. That's how people lose their jobs right there. I just find a nice shortcut to turn off my camera when I need to.
Yeah.
It's actually very helpful.
Ease.
Well, it is at the moment, because obviously I keep having to like cough and splatter and then do stuff, and people don't really want to see that, so it's helpful to be able to just turn the camera off when I need to. But yeah, that was NXT 2.0. So yeah. You have to give us a rating. He looks so confused, doesn't he, people?
5. Yeah, 5.
I think that's fair.
5 will do, yeah.
Help is on the way, dear!
Thanks for that. And everyone who's got earphones will thank you for that as well.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so that brings us to that does, of course, bring us to NXT UK once their hearing has recovered from Aaron blurting stuff out down areas. Thank you.
Actually kind of works, because you've just gone through Raw, you've just gone through NXT. Help is on the way, dear! We're just going through NXT UK.
Certainly is for you, yeah. It's how Aaron copes most of the time of watching WWE, is this show.
That, and I know that after I've watched all of this, I can watch AEW.
And then we also get to take the piss out of shit we've just had to watch too. So yeah, there is that. Well, to be fair, we'll praise it when it gets praised, but a lot of the time, unfortunately, it does need to be shat on because it's been shit.
Yeah. So, this week on NXT UK, Amel versus Nina Samuels, a good match and a win for Amel. Saxon Huxley and A-Kid segment was funny, and Huxley had a moment of clarity thanks to A-Kid's etiquette training, which I'm really hoping continues because it's been very funny so far. Then we had Noam Dar versus Shah. Noam Dar and Shah Samuels get locked in a room and have the Heritage Cup stolen. Was funny, but it also kind of reeked of Gallus. Then we had Davenport versus Satomura. It was revisited. No update on Davenport, unfortunately. Mustache Mountain and Smith and Carter segment backstage after their match. They had like just an exchange of words. It wasn't a really big deal segment. But yeah, it was what it was. Then we had Supernova Sessions. That was taken over by Gallus and turned into Gallus Boys on Talk. And it was hilarious, and I preferred it to Supernova Sessions, to be honest. But this would have been better if it would have made a 6-man tag match after what had happened with Gallus and Devlin and obviously Samuels. But it didn't. So then we had a Kenny Williams segment, which was good, but he basically just berated Gradwell for 5 minutes. Then we had Saxon Huxley versus A-Kid. this was a cat and mouse match mostly, but also Saxon seemed to be he seemed to have developed a bit, like changed his strategy. And anybody who's seen Huxley wrestle before, he doesn't really have a strategy most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he was actually in control of this match through most of it. But Huxley seemed like a different competitor in the ring. A-Kid hit the flying super kick and Huxley kicked out. But unfortunately, a rope assisted moonsault DDT got A-Kid the win over Huxley. They really need to think of a better name for that. But then the surprising thing about it, there was a moment of sportsmanship afterwards, and Huxley and A-Kid actually shook hands.
I thought he was going to say they kissed and hugged.
So this is led me to believe that this is going to continue with these two individuals
With
until we get something out of it, like possibly like a refined Saxon Huxley, which is championship material, or who knows?
Possibly. For just to give people a slight update on Blair Davenport, her actual prognosis isn't publicly known, but she's actually on crutches, so that's probably going to mean months.
Yeah. So then we had Wolfgang and Gallus in a segment. Wolfgang split off from the group to go and get the pints in, and he got hit across the back with a steel chair and sunglasses back that Wolfgang stole from him 3 months ago. But yeah, Devlin may end up regretting it though, because he's scheduled for a match next week against Devlin in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I'd smoke a little doobie with you, but you won't come downstairs. I can roll it for you.
Yeah. I only have one more match listed on my list, if that's the same for you, which is Nathan Fraser and T.O. Man.
Fraser versus T.O. Man. Before this actually happened, though, A-Kid had an interview, and they asked him how he was feeling after over the win over Saxon Huxley, and he was obviously happy.
As he should be, he won, yeah.
But then De Familia walked past, and there was kind of an exchange between A-Kid and Charlie Dempsey.
Mm-hmm.
Like a kind of nod of respect of sorts. So possibly De Familia getting a fourth member? It'd be interesting.
You never know. They might all kiss and hug.
Especially if A-Kid gets Huxley into the etiquette training properly and Huxley joins as well.
They could all become the Blue Bloods in WCW. For those of you who don't know what that is, look it up. You'll get the idea as to why that would be funny.
Or NXT's version of the Bullet Club. Yeah, I was waiting for that. But especially after this week in AEW. But
when we get to the after show, I am going to have some words about that.
I bet you will. But Nathan Fraser versus T.O. Man was actually a really good match, and this was redemption for Fraser after the attack from Die Familia. And actually, yeah, Fraser won. That's what was the most surprising thing out of that.
To be fair, he probably should have won, though.
Yeah, probably.
If you look at what's going on storyline-wise, it's the most interesting thing that could have happened.
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder, though, what's going to happen next. Obviously, there's going to be, he's probably going to end up facing each and every one of the Die Familia until it just gets stupid and somebody else, possibly a team, has to step in.
But here's the point. You've created something and you're going to have different matches. instead of the same
Yeah.
match every single week.
But it's not going to mean much if he beats all three of them.
No, but you've just said what can happen as well. So
I've said what can happen. It probably won't.
no, but it's still better booking than the main WWE shows. So I don't have too much of a problem with it. NXT UK tend to book things fairly well, so I don't really have an issue if something's not quite.
Yeah.
I tend to be much more lenient on watching wrestling where I know they generally give us good stuff, and every so often it's only a case of meh, then that's okay. As long as it isn't always meh.
No, because if it always was, they'd have us on their case.
Well, that's what Broad is basically, for those of you who are unaware. And sometimes SmackDown as well, to be honest.
Yeah. I gave this week an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I can see that.
It was good. Like, everything flowed well. There was just no
Outstanding.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I can understand the 8. It's a good score.
Mhm.
In my opinion. That, of course, ladies and gentlemen, led us to SmackDown. And oh boy. If you're going to do this, have Vince do this in person. Don't have them give fucking Adam Pearce a letter. You can have Vince even record a video. So we can see it up on the Tron or something. Don't do it by letter. That's dumb.
Agreed.
I think this should have happened, though, don't get me wrong. But not with this execution. Because, don't get me wrong, I like the result of what happened. I just don't like how it was executed. But Sonya Deville was trying to get Ronda Rousey's fine £10,000 to £100,000, whatever the hell it was, right? For what? Sonya's a wrestler.
Touching an official.
Yeah, and when exactly was that happen? It's not a thing. She's not an official, she's a wrestler. You're going to get touched, deal with it.
But they've made it clear that when she's wearing a jacket, she's an official. When she's not wearing said jacket, she is a wrestler. So if it gets too hot in her office, she's in trouble.
Yeah, that's my opinion of that.
I'm surprised she hasn't had the Los Lotharios treatment and have us like a rip-off jacket. Like rip-off suit.
I'm not, because bear in mind, what Sonya's been through lately, that's a bit too suggestive.
Yeah, true.
So I think that's why they're trying to not have Sonya come across in a sort of way like that for that exact reason. And I don't blame them. It might even be by her request, in which case, great. But it'd be nice to assume that they're just looking out for her well-being. I don't have an issue with that. If it's meant, if something like comes from a good place and they're just looking after somebody, not a problem.
I mean, the only part of this segment that I liked is the fact that after Adam Pearce was finished talking, Naomi's music hit straight away. Came out, she said, "Oh, the boss said you couldn't hit me. Didn't say anything about me hitting you," and slapped her straight around the face. So she got her just desserts.
Yeah, but we still don't know why why Sonya doesn't like her.
Yeah. So it wasn't her just desserts, but it was a bit of comeuppance. the just desserts is when she's going to lose her job.
Yeah, when she gets punished properly for it. But here's the thing: we don't even know why she doesn't like her. So there's no reason for this.
No, and it looks incredibly racist.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's not what they mean to do here, because that's not how they operate. Honestly,
And utterly pretty retarded, for lack of a better word, because Sonya's
There
part
isn't-
of the LGBTQ plus community,
there isn't a better word for it. It is retarded.
and so is Naomi, because like Black got introduced to the LGBT community like about 4 years ago now.
Don't get me wrong. This is bad, regardless of whether you are like LB. I never remember how to say these letters properly, so I'm not trying to be weird here. I just never remember how it's.
Hang on.
So, Aaron knows this about me, and I've explained this before. I am just really bad at remembering these things like LGBTQ. Thank you very much. So, yeah, you don't necessarily have to be LGBTQ for this to be offensive. Oh, plus, and there's a plus apparently. Okay, sorry, my bad.
I forgot the plus.
For this to be offensive, I think this is offensive if it's two white girls, honestly, and two straight white girls, or if it's two straight black women or two straight Hispanic women. I just think this is offensive. The fact that it involves somebody from that demographic up against a black woman makes it just go that much more worse with the way the world is.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, it's still bad and you shouldn't be doing it, regardless of whatever orientation or gender you happen to be. It's a dumb thing to do. I mean, it'd probably be easier and probably wouldn't come across so badly if we actually had a reason as to why Sonya's supposed to be this way to Naomi, but we don't.
They wasn't even on Tough Enough together.
Yeah, so you can't even they haven't given us a reason. So in the absence of reason, unfortunately, the most likely thing we got up in people's heads, especially the way the world is today, is let's be racist.
I think I know the reason.
Okay.
Mandy Rose was on Tough Enough.
Yes, she was.
Naomi visited as a judge on Tough
Yes.
Enough.
Yes.
And she was a bit cruel to Mandy. Or said
Okay.
something about her hair, and Mandy is Sonya Deville's best friend.
Okay.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Okay. That's fine if it's the reason, because at least it is a reason. It's not the best reason, but it's a reason. But they
That's the
haven't
only
told-
thing I can think of.
But they haven't told us that. But you've put more thought into that than they have. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And by consequence, you're making both Naomi and Sonya look very bad here for something that's got nothing to do with them. It's not their fault at all. This is booking right here, and I fucking hate it.
But what makes things worse, if that's the case, and they are using the reason that I thought of,
Mm-hmm.
Sonya and Mandy split up WrestleMania 34 because of the whole Otis deal.
Before Sonya disappeared because of the court case, yeah.
Yeah, so Sonya's got no reason to be protecting Mandy Rose in a WWE storyline shape or form.
Well, yeah, because on screen we've had no reconciliation of any kind.
No. So my idea is it's good, but it's pointless.
So whichever way you put it, it's still bad storytelling.
Yeah, 100%.
And if you're gonna have you got to have a good story. You can be the best wrestlers in the world, that's fine. But if you can't give a good story, people are not going to care and they're going to lose interest. And that's the same with not even just wrestling. This is why a lot of TV shows and movies are suffering right now, because there's no story. It's all about what I want to do for my agenda and not my story. And the rest of things would be displayed as well. Because you've got Vince McMahon probably sat there, or Bruce Pritchard, or whoever it may be, going, I want this to happen because that's what I want. Without thinking about, well, how am I going to explain this to make this work or this to make sense?
Yeah.
It's a pet peeve of mine. I hate when stories aren't told properly or there's an absence of a story. Make it work. There are some instances in wrestling where you can just have stuff happen and you don't need a story, but they are very few.
Yeah, true.
I mean, there are instances sometimes where you can just have a match.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that in the slightest.
But again, you still have to. You still have to. You can't have every match be that way.
No.
You know, look at some of the best matches you've ever seen, right? Would they be as good without a story to them? Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker.
No.
Let's see.
Kane and The Undertaker.
Kane and Undertaker, yeah. Bret and Shawn leading up to this Survivor Series '97. There's quite a lot of examples, but those are probably three very easy ones, right?
Triple H and Randy Orton.
Charlotte, Becky, Ronda. It had a story. Wasn't a good one, but it had one. Leading up to the triple threat before when Ronda left, I mean.
Bray Wyatt and The Undertaker.
A story.
CM Punk and The Shield.
There you go. That's a story.
CM Punk and Ryback.
Whether you like it or not, The Authority. It was a storyline. They actually did put
One of the best storylines that WWE had done in a while, to be fair.
Yeah. It wasn't good, but at least it was a story.
It's fucking long-winded as hell, too, but yeah.
And as much as I don't like it, Undisputed Era.
DIY.
There you go. Another example there. I'm trying to think of the women. Oh, what's that bloody name? It was the woman that turned on the other one and shut her into the cage door. NXT as a War Games match.
Oh,
was it Knox?
Tegan Knox and Dakota Kai.
Yeah. That's a story.
Yeah. Dakota and Raquel Gonzalez.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez.
There you go. That's a story. These don't necessarily. They don't all. But the point is, these don't necessarily have to be great stories, but give us a story.
And I hate to say it as much as it's a pain in anyone's ass, really. But the 24/7 Championship, that's an ongoing story. It's always changing. It's always adapting.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
The 24/7 Championship. It's always changing.
The what is?
The 24/7 Championship.
So it must be going on because you've gone all silent on me for some reason. Okay. Did you say 24/7 title, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said. Yeah, you're right. But that works because of the nature of the belt. So you can do that. They don't have to be great stories, but give us a story. But in the instance of that title, you can also have them not be stories, and it's okay because of the nature of the belt. But if you're going to have feuds around like the major titles and stuff, or like authority figures, you need to explain that shit. You need a story for that shit.
Yeah, definitely.
It's my opinion, anyway. yes, we've gone on another. I've went on a rather long rant about it, but it's something I have a very big opinion on because I fucking hate that shit. That, however, did lead us to. I've only got matches listed for SmackDown, so if there's segments, you're gonna have to let me know.
Then we had a recap of what happened with last week with New Day and Los Lotharios. Then we found out that we're getting a rematch between the two, and I titled this one New Day versus Los Lotharios 2, The Return of the Kiss Cam.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not joking either. The Kiss Cam that the Great Khali used to use made its indignified return. The funny thing about this, the Kiss Cam feature, I assume they planted a model in the front row.
They did, yeah.
Because as soon as the kiss was done, she was like, okay, I'm done. Don't need to stay. Bye.
Yeah, that she was a plant. Yeah. Because obviously, for those of you unaware of this, kiss cams are used a lot in baseball. At least they used to be, obviously, pre-COVID. And they'd pick out couples in the crowd and kiss and stuff. That's the whole point of the kiss cam. But this is clearly what this is meant for. It's a bit, yeah, okay.
I have second thoughts as to what this was for.
Oh, go ahead.
This was because this past week on, I think it was Dynamite. I'm pretty sure it's Dynamite. MJF snogged the face off of that girl on his way to the ring.
Okay, I have some clarification for this because a lot of people didn't seem to notice. That's his girlfriend.
I had a feeling it was.
Yeah, because a lot of people are like, because obviously there was two of them. One of them just pecked him on the cheek, and the other one he snogged her face off. That one was his girlfriend. Okay, because a lot of people, get weird about shit that much. No, that's his girlfriend. They probably do that shit more than we can imagine. And if, to be honest, if she was my girlfriend, I'd snog her that way too. I think she was pretty good looking.
Mm-hmm.
But she's his girlfriend. You can do that. It's fine. Nobody should give a fuck.
Yeah. And if
And
this
in this case,
thing was a retaliation to that, then it was pretty shit.
very, very. Because if you are going to do this, have it with two people who actually are like a couple or something, because it looks better for one thing.
AEW did the full-on business talk side of like a kiss cam.
Mm-hmm.
WWE, it's just a fucking sad hand job in comparison.
Yeah, it's what I don't get. Why don't you just get like one of Los Lotharios' girlfriends and have them do it?
Yeah.
Or one of their female friends who'd happily do it, Or if they are gay, have one of their male friends do it, because the kiss cam doesn't have to be a guy and a girl, by the way, just to be clear.
No.
It is not sex. It is not against people of the same genders doing it. There have been kiss cams in baseball where you've had same-sex couples doing it. It's not unheard of.
It's completely fine, but yeah, this was WWE's sad hand job moment of the week.
Yeah, to be fair though, here's the other thing they could have done. They could have just kissed each other.
Yeah, well, they don't come from the island.
No, but obviously they are related, which is why you don't do that. But the point is, but this is the point, right? They could be so vain about each other that they won't want to touch anyone else. They just love each other so much. It's a WWE thing. Vince would probably do it if he thought of it. Just to be clear, this is the same guy who once pitched the storyline where he would have an incestuous relationship with his daughter.
I thought that was just a myth.
Mm-mm. It's been talked about several times by several people on the bookie pity, and do you know why it didn't happen?
Incest law?
Shane.
What?
Shane literally talked him out of doing it. And people think Shane McMahon never did anything for wrestling. I'm telling you now, we're all happy he did that.
Yeah, he got fired too. But yeah.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. That is a
No?
lie. Nope, not got fired. He's just not on. It's just not an on-screen talent. He's still working for the company. I don't know where the myth went around about him being fired, but no, he's still a registered employee. He was out doing business meetings this past week.
That's really weird.
So yeah, this is why you have to be careful who you listen to when it comes to stuff like that.
Hmm.
So, and this comes directly from people who were in those meetings with Shane. So this is how I know. Because those people posted on social media, they had a meeting with Shane with a picture of them with Shane.
Noise.
And when you're a business like that, you can't lie.
Hmm.
Obviously, wrestling companies are slightly different, but these were actual proper companies, in which case you have a responsibility to the people involved with your company not to mislead people. Anyway, sorry, Aaron, you were going to say.
So once this sad handjob moment was over, we had the match between New Day and Los Lotharios.
Mm-hmm.
And this time Los Lotharios actually came out on top, and it was a good match. That was a really bad saying to use after just talking about a sad handjob, but we're moving on.
Hang on, we're not moving on because it's Valentine's Day tomorrow, so we're gonna have to have some fun with this. You said it was a good match, did you? Mm-hmm. 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 Did they swipe right or left?
It was a very awkward looking roll up, not gonna lie. If you go and look it back, it looks like missionary. Bad missionary.
I'll say Los Lotharios, had they been reading the Kama Sutra, maybe?
I don't know, they might have borrowed it off of Veer because he's still coming.
Yeah, that man must have some stamina if he can still keep coming after all that time. Jesus Christ, man. He must really have read that book about tantric sex. I mean, my fucking God. His balls must fucking hurt by now. Jesus Christ.
It's in a piece of a different kind.
I mean, his balls probably look like the contents of this bag.
Probably
Anyway,
dry roasted too.
Anyway, happy Valentine's Day for tomorrow. I was actually almost tempted to try and arrange a quiz for tomorrow, but I've got stuff to do, so I can't. Just to be annoying for Valentine's Day, but to be fair, there are people out there who actually want to spend time with other halves and actually love them.
I can't.
You're working, I know. So, but to be fair, you also do see each other fairly regularly when you can, so it's not like you don't see each other.
I'm seeing her the day afterwards.
Well, there you go. So, but yeah, I also think a lot of people put too much stock in Valentine's Day because I think really it's a case of if you do like each other, you can kind of show each other that every time you're around each other. It doesn't have to be that one day of the year. Also, birthdays are much more personal. Do it then.
Yeah.
There you go. Anyway, sorry, off my soapbox now. We can move on now off of that stuff. Is it Roman now?
The cover wasn't great, and the count seemed fast too on the Los Lotharios match. We then had a Viking Raiders segment that ended with the Usos ambushing them and just showed how the Usos weren't taking the Raiders seriously because they took their helmets away with them to keep in the office, as they called it, or locker room as we know it.
Hang on, we just got through talking about Valentine's stuff, and then you're going to talk about them taking their helmets. Jesus Christ, Aaron, really?
Yeah, got to be done. Then we had a recap of the Goldberg segment from last week. Then a sit-down interview with Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman done by Michael Cole. Reigns answered Cole's questions, and then Roman said that he's going to out Goldberg, and win on Saturday.
Here's my question. Why is he answering Cole's questions?
Booking.
Yeah, that's bad because you've got Roman who's supposed to be like the tribal chief, and everyone's supposed to like what's it he says?
Acknowledge him.
That's the one. Then why is he answering questions from a pleb like Michael Cole? Why isn't Heyman doing this? You can have Reigns there, but have Heyman answer the questions. Reigns doesn't have to.
He did answer them in parts, but Roman answered the main stake of them, to be fair.
The only bit Roman should really do, in my opinion, is like the ending definitive statement. Like he's going to beat Goldberg. That part he should definitely do. The rest of it, Heyman could have done.
To be honest, saying that you're going to out Goldberg sounds fucking stupid anyway. So yeah, get Roman to say that.
Do you know the thing is, right? That makes me just think he's actually going to kill The Undertaker as opposed to almost kill The Undertaker.
Nah, I see what you mean.
For those of you who don't get that, there's a Saudi show you need to watch.
Yeah. And watch it pretty close up as well, because it makes it fun.
Yeah.
Unless your name's, The Undertaker.
Unless you're, or Michelle McCall.
Or Mike Galloway.
Yeah.
So, next on this shit streak, we had Aaliyah versus Natalya, Dungeon style, and we just stopped talking about Valentine's Day.
It's two women in a dungeon match. I can get behind this. As a straight white male, I can get behind two women in a dungeon. But anyway, it was serious though.
I think they realised how they fucked up here because they just said it was pinfall submission. A pinfall submission match, and there was no mention of dungeon style at all.
I do think it's funny you've got them in a dungeon style match and you can only win by pinning them down or submitting them. Very kinky. Very kinky.
Valentine's week as well. Good job.
But yeah, I think you're definitely right, though. They clearly realised, and that's why they didn't keep mentioning about the dungeon shit.
Yep. So this match seemed pointless, and then to top it off, Natalya won.
It was pointless, apart from the amusement it caused me with the idea of a dungeon-style match on Valentine's week.
But Natalya afterwards wasn't done. She tried to attack Aaliyah, and then Xia Li came out to the rescue. Then we had a touching Black History segment narrated by The Rock on his dad, Rocky Johnson. But from one extreme to the other, and we had the Insane show afterwards. We had a recap of Johnny Knoxville destroying a load of Sammy's merch and painting him a loser, basically. Sammy that's also saying that Sammy is going down, but didn't say when or anything like that. And Sammy then spoke on his talk show about what he was going to be talking about. And then Boogs and Nakamura interrupted him and came out, and Sammy said he was surprised that they came to the show after Nakamura had been apparently ducking him for 6 weeks. Sammy picked on Boogs, and Boogs went to grab the microphone and got shocked. Then Nakamura tried to check on Boogs to see if he was okay and suffered a haluva kick from Sami Zayn. So basically, it was a setup for Sammy to haluva kick Nakamura before his title match next week.
I have a response to that. Do you know what it is?
we then had a recap of the McIntyre and Corbin and Moss love triangle that seems to be going on.
Oh boy.
Which led to Corbin versus Cesaro. A good match. What I didn't like was this undefeated thing. They were saying about Corbin that he's been undefeated since he hit the jackpot in Las Vegas at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
Makes no sense, and it's pro gambling, and I don't like it.
Well, I'll bet you're wrong.
So then we had a Moss and McIntyre segment, which was good. Basically, Moss was getting his eye checked by the doctor and trying to put on that he couldn't see properly because he didn't want to be in a match with McIntyre. To be honest, who can blame him?
I blame him.
Yeah. Then
He's a professional wrestler.
yeah. Then Moss was told to close his eyes, told to open them, and Angela was standing right in front of his eyes.
I have a thing about that. He was told to close his eyes, right? And it's Valentine's week. That's a bit dangerous for that.
I was thinking the same thing. I thought he was going to get a butt on his face.
Yeah, it's a good job Rikishi weren't around, but anyway.
Latest member of the Kiss My Ass Club.
Isn't that Austin Theory?
Only on Mondays.
And probably a other day too.
Probably. If there's a selfie in it for him, then yeah.
I have a theory.
So does McMahon, funnily enough.
Exactly.
So at the Elimination Chamber, McIntyre informed Moss that their match will be Falls Count Anywhere.
Anywhere in the great country of Saudi Arabia, huh?
Yeah. This felt like a rerun of Reigns versus Corbin at the Royal Rumble.
Okay. This will never go too far anywhere in that building simply because of where it is.
Yeah.
It's a dumb stipulation to have in a place like that because of how heavily it's guarded. They're never going to let you go out and wrestle on the streets in Saudi Arabia for various reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So why make it that? That's dumb. Have it there be no DQ or something. Don't. Also, don't have a street fight either. You can guess why. They're kind of pushing it, having an elimination chamber there, in all honesty.
Yeah. I mean, they can't really have Hell in a Cell, can they? Because it's got Hell literally in the title.
Yeah, that'd actually be worse. Not by much, but it would be worse. Bear in mind, the elimination chamber. You only have only two places would be worse to have that chamber.
Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Austria?
Yeah.
Yeah. And beat.
Yeah. So it just gives you an idea of just how bad that is as an idea. Apart from the fact they don't go there, it'd be like having it in Iran or North Korea.
It's a good thing the Germans didn't hit oil, isn't it?
Oh dear.
Yikes.
Yeah, well, apparently, I think if people hear that, mate, they might try and cancel you. And do you know what I say? People try and cancel people.
Hit me with your best shot.
Fuck off. Get a life. Do something worthwhile.
Go find some more diamonds.
Go play in the road. Honestly, if that's the kind of person you are. Do something constructive for your life. or better yet, or even if not constructive, do something fun with your life where you're not having to enjoy yourself by making other people suffer.
Mm.
And I'd say probably 98% of the time, the people who do these things don't even know why they're trying to do it.
No.
It's bullshit. Such bullshit. Anyway, so we just did Corbin, yeah? And see, so now we got to Moss and McIntyre, didn't we? Angela's in front of his face. Yeah, that's where we got to.
Yeah. And we decided that the match at Saudi was going to be a Falls Count anyway.
Yeah, which we already kind of discussed the fact I think it's a stupid idea.
Oh, yeah, and I agree.
So, at least it's not a sword and a pole match, which would actually be worse.
Oh, McIntyre made a point of saying that Falls Count Anywhere is no holds barred, basically.
He is correct.
So
that's
he
true.
can use anything, and he pointed the sword at Moss.
And this is why these matches shouldn't happen in places like Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. So next we have Michael Cole and Goldberg in an interview segment, which was okay, but seemed boring.
That's because it was.
Then we had a recap of the start of the show for some reason. Then we found out there'd be a face-to-face next week between Roman Reigns and Goldberg.
Because they're trying to wake people up. That's why there was a recap. But yeah. It makes sense because it's like literally right before the chamber.
And then we had the entrances for the main event. And Naomi came out first. And Michael Cole was talking about like the Royal Rumble and stuff, and how Naomi did in the Royal Rumble. And then Ronda Rousey came out, and Michael Cole called Ronda Rousey Rounder Rousey.
Well, she's just had a kid, so maybe she's, I don't know, better a bit personal.
Like, what the fuck kind of mistake is that? I hope Ronda doesn't I hope Ronda doesn't like.
No, I hope she finds out.
He says Rounder Rousey. I was like,
yeah. I hope she finds out because then he won't be doing it again.
I was like, oh shit. I was like, hi Ronda, hi Michael. Here's my husband, Travis.
But that's the thing. What makes that worse, though, is it's not like it's even a stage name. That Ronda Rousey is an actual name. I understand the mispronouncing of the names when it's not somebody's actual name and it's their wrestling name. But when somebody uses their actual name and you mispronounce it, I'm sorry, but you're an idiot.
Yeah. And then
so Ronda Rousey came out, yeah.
So what made this even worse? The first 4 minutes of the match. The last 4 minutes left of the match, and Cole was getting all excited and worked up as he does.
Valentine's Day.
And said the win was for a championship match, even though that this match was for the title. So he didn't even know what the fucking storyline was. He was just there.
Somebody clearly didn't have their pills today.
So even though this was for the title, and then 2 minutes later, Charlotte got the win. Also, members of the crowd were yelling bullshit, and to be honest, I agree. Charlotte literally kicked out of every fucking thing Naomi had. It was like Charlotte woke up and chose today to be Johnny fucking Gargano.
No, she does this all the time in matches. It's not a new thing for Charlotte, and this is one of the reasons a lot of people don't like her.
It made Naomi look weak as fuck.
Yeah, the thing is, though, I'm going to defend Charlotte here. Charlotte does not decide this. This is a booking thing.
Mm,
Okay. Because
well,
I think Charlotte's a decent wrestler, but she should not be doing it. It's kicking out all these things. But that's not done it. That's the booking. But it's not good because you just said it. It makes her opponent look weak,
yeah, it does.
which in return makes the champion look weak as well because she can't beat a strong. She's struggling to beat an opponent who's not apparently good because she's being made to look weak.
Yeah. So then we had a recap of the start. No, I went back to the top of my page for some reason. Sorry.
Okay.
So 2 minutes later, Charlotte got the win. Also, after all that, the crowd shouting bullshit, and well, like I said, I agree with them. It's just ridiculous.
I agree with them too.
But after the match, Sonya Deville got in Naomi's face and was doing all the and Charlotte and Deville started kicking the crap out of her. And Ronda Rousey came to the rescue. And that was the end of the show. It looked like we'd possibly get a match next week, maybe, between Ronda Rousey and Naomi versus Charlotte and Deville. I'd be up for that.
I believe there actually wasn't that match announced. I just can't remember what it was for, so just bear with me. I'm just going to check. I think there was a match actually announced, so I'm just trying to remember when it was for. So I'm just going to double check to make sure I'm correct. It's a good job on that. Spell all these names. I thought it'd be real bad. Oh, it's for Elimination Chamber.
What?
It's taking place at the Saudi show.
All right.
The
So
tag
it's
match.
the tag match.
That's what it says here. Yeah. Right. I'm just going to clarify this by reading exactly what I've got here. A tag team match has been added to next Saturday's Elimination Chamber. Yeah, it's the match we've just discussed. Ronda and Naomi will take on Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville. So yeah, it's an Elimination Chamber match.
Oh, that actually makes sense. Fucking hell.
I know, it's weird, isn't it? I remember it being announced something, but I couldn't remember what it was for, so I thought I'd best check.
I hadn't heard about it, so it's good that you did.
Well, I do like to try and inform people, even if it's just themselves, because sometimes that's good too.
Yeah.
It's never a bad thing to learn stuff, because if you don't know something, you both find out, and then at least then you know.
Mm.
You may not like what you get told, but at least you know. So it's a shame they just can't give us an actual answer as to why Deville hates Charlotte and Naomi for some reason. That would be nice.
It would.
Even if it's she pulled my pigtails when I was in secondary school, I don't give a shit. Give us an actual reason. Because the weird thing is that would actually be less racist. It's a stupid ass reason, but at least it's not racist.
Yeah.
Or phobic, which would be the other one.
Phobic.
You know, with Deville being an open member of the community.
What, straight phobic?
Sonya is a lesbian, right?
Yes.
Yeah. The point being is that Naomi is a married woman who's straight, so it could come across as being phobic.
Oh, scared of a straight black woman.
Yeah, or the fact that she is scared. Yeah, she is scared of a straight black woman, worried about what she'll be trying to do to her as a member of that community. It can come across that way. That's not what's happening. Let's be very clear about that.
Yeah.
But it's what it kind of portrays, and that's why this is a bad thing.
Yeah, to be honest.
I mean, you can speak more to the community aspect of it than I can because you are a part of the community. But to me, that's how it looks.
Yeah, but being part of that community, we don't like to differentiate between people, even people who aren't in the community, such as yourself.
Yeah. But the problem is a lot of people go by perception. And that's the thing.
Perception is quite a dangerous area, to be honest.
But people do it very, very regularly.
Mm.
People like to assume things or jump to conclusions before they know facts. We've all probably met lots of people who do it. We've probably also done it ourselves at various points in our lives too, because I doubt any of us are exempt from it.
Yeah.
I mean, I always like to jump to the conclusion that I'm going to be able to get a chocolate when I go to the shop. Doesn't always mean I'm going to get one, but I like to assume I'm going to.
Yeah.
But that's just me talking about assumptions. It's not related to the actual subject.
No.
But my point being is that we're all prone to making assumptions. Some are small assumptions that aren't really worth anything, like me and chocolate. And there's others who make big assumptions like, oh, well, that person can't be a lesbian because she's well sexy. Yeah, shut up. You see what I'm trying to explain, I think, at least.
Yeah, I get it.
So, but bear in mind, this is a straight white dude here talking, trying to explain it from how I see this. Doesn't mean it's the same that everyone else sees it, and I know enough to know that. My point of view is not the only point of view. It's not necessarily going to be the right point of view, but it could be the right point of view for me. But I'm not deluded enough to believe that it is the only point of view.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about every personal creed, colour, race, religion, or orientation on the planet to actually make that kind of a statement. Nobody does. But, you know, but they do need to sort this out with Sonia and Naomi, though. Give us a reason. Explain it. But I didn't plan to do predictions for Elimination Chamber because I don't really want to. Because it's a Saudi show and I don't particularly like the Saudi shows.
Nah.
I mean, you can talk about it if you want, but I don't really care.
Nah, there's nothing really on the show that I'm interested in, to be honest.
That was what I figured, but I thought I'd at least offer the option because it is still WWE shit. So,
I mean, like the Rumble, this show's generally just throwaway matches to set up for Mania.
but yeah,
So Reigns will retain. Lynch doesn't even have a match. As far as the Charlotte and Deville versus Ronda and Naomi match is concerned, I'd probably guess that Charlotte and Deville will win, but that's purely down to where it is, not who's in the match.
really, why would you make such an assumption?
Because
Say it, dude. I know what you're thinking. Say it. I don't care.
Naomi's black, and they're
And-
fighting in Saudi.
Yeah. They don't have the best record for such things, unfortunately.
No.
So, yeah.
She'd be the first black woman to wrestle in Saudi.
For WWE, yeah, definitely. So it was clear that I wanted you to be clear as to why, because it was important for people to understand that.
But on the other side of things, Sonya Deville is a lesbian.
So it's a question of what they find more offensive, essentially.
I mean, if I was to hazard a guess, I would actually say Sonya Deville being a bit more offensive. But it's different. It's difficult to call.
The only reason I'd probably say it'd be more like they'd probably be more like to find it be Naomi, is the prejudice has been there longer.
Yeah,
that's possibly it, and it's nothing to do with the two individuals. It's a group thing, not an individual thing. Probably the best way to explain it.
Yeah, it's a communal approach, not a
individual.
Mm.
Yeah. So, because nothing to do with either one of them, because that's not how it's being judged. Is it right? Absolutely not. But in various parts of the world, people have different beliefs to what the rest of us do. It's just something we have to. I wouldn't say tolerate because that's not really the right word, but understand is probably a better way of putting it. It doesn't mean we think it's okay or anything. It just means we understand that not all opinions are shared by everyone.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to condemn anyone here. That's not for me to do. The only time I ever condemn anyone for anything is when it directly affects me. Because then that's my right to do so. But outside of that, unless I know exactly the whole thing and everything involved, nah. Because that's what stupid people do. And I try and be as least stupid as I can be. But to be fair, we all do have stupid moments. But I try and limit mine to as few as possible. Such as speaking on a podcast for 2 hours while not recovering from my throat infection. But the thing is, this is what happens when you arrange something with people. Just try and do your best. And fortunately, we've managed to get through most of this. And Darren's done a lot more talking than normal because he's had to. And I appreciate that.
It's okay.
We will actually now shift to the after show though, so we can be a bit more relaxed and chill set after the show. So at this point, people, the WWE stuff is officially over, and we'll just talk about whatever the hell we want.
I'm eating jelly beans.
There you go. Oh, they're nice.
They're very random. They're like what's the when you go to like the Mr. Sim sweet shops and they have the big bags of like mixed jelly beans.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, they're like them, but they haven't got any of the nasty flavors in there, so they're all like nice flavored.
So essentially it's a pick and mix, but without the abrasive flavoring ones.
Yeah, it's Bertie Bott's every flavored beans, but without the nasty ones.
There you go.
No, it's been quite nice because I've had like a couple of weird ones, and then like I've had a popcorn one, and I like the popcorn ones. But the popcorn ones look a lot like the white chocolate ones, so sometimes I can bite into one and they'll just be like a bit too sweet, and I'm like, noise.
That's probably some kind of chocolate or jellies or whatever it is. Sometimes it'll look so much like another type, so you'll bite it expecting one thing, and it'll be something completely different. You'll be like, even if you like it, you'll be like, first you'll be like, oh, okay, it's that.
Yeah.
It's worse though when you don't actually like what it is, and you do that, and it's like, oh.
So the Tutti Frutti one looks like the strawberry smoothie one, and I'm not a fan of the strawberry smoothie, but the Tutti Frutti one's nice.
That's a good example right there.
So it's like I bite into a Tutti Frutti one, and I'm just like, bite into a strawberry one, I'm like, no.
You should do that as a Twitch stream. Randomly taste chocolate and jelly beans and stuff, and basically people have to guess whether you're going to like what it is or not.
I'm surprised you haven't been on my stream, because I've got a new thing on my stream for my channel point.
I've not had the time, honestly, between being ill and actually doing work. Oh, I was there then.
Know what they are, don't you?
Vaguely. Is it the popping things?
No, the really sour candies. The hard, like boiled, sweet, sour ones.
Got 'em. Okay, I know what you mean, yeah.
For a certain amount of points on my channel now, I'll eat one of these on stream. And it's only happened once so far. And it was awful.
Let's message all the Twitch people I know and get them to hack into your account and make you do that. Hashtag eat the sour.
My friend came onto my stream, and she hadn't been on my stream in a couple of weeks. And she came on, she says, "Oh, you got some new channel point things." I was like, "Yeah, I do." And she's like, "Oh yeah, this all looks very interesting."
Mm-hmm.
Did the toxic waste one and then left. I was like, "Oh no, no."
Nothing like Friends, is there?
She's like, "No, don't do it." She's like, "Sorry, couldn't resist."
In the words of the Emperor from Star Wars, do it.
Oh, I just had a coconut jelly bean.
Mm. You don't like it, do you? If not from the looks of that.
I do, but it just gives me like Malibu flashbacks.
I was going to say, there isn't actually a chocolate I don't like. So for me, that's not really an issue. No, I like coconut.
I do.
So I can't think of one I don't like, actually. Because I also eat licorice, which most people won't, and aniseed.
Mm.
So
I like cinnamon.
Yeah, for those of you who have never met me or don't know me, I have a very bad habit of biting my nails. This is something people who know me know. And the thing they give you to use to not do that is aniseed. So it doesn't work because I like aniseed. It's like, ooh, flavoring.
Yeah, I'm the same.
So yeah, if you're gonna try to put somebody off for doing something, you can't put something on there that you're actually gonna like. Oh, let's see what it is.
This is either gonna be like cherry or strawberry smoothie or tutti frutti.
Let's see from the reaction, what's it gonna be? It's the one he doesn't like. I know that face. In the words of the last man you met, swallow.
I don't know what that one was. It tasted like really weird.
It's because you just had it with the other one as well. They're mixing.
That was nice. That was cotton candy.
Mm. By the way, if you do Option and E, you can actually turn the camera off on the keyboard. Because I'm using Command and E because I'm using a Mac. It's the same thing.
On my laptop, I've got a taskbar along the side of my screen, like here, so I can just click a button and it turns my camera off straight away.
Okay, it's just if you needed the keyboard shortcut, that's what it is. Because not everyone has those function buttons like you mentioned. So I thought, in case you needed to know what it was.
No, if I scroll over to each of the buttons, it tells me what it is on the keypad. So, like, camera is CTRL-E, and mute is Control-D.
Well, my hand's always naturally near the keyboard anyway, so it's actually very easy for me to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's not a hard thing for me to do. So it does make it easier when you can, to do that stuff. But because not everyone knows keyboard shortcuts, so it's always what makes it. That's great for the ASMR people listening, by the way. And as he devours the bag and then just rumbles it in his hands, the sound you hear is that of a desperate man in an island of sheep. For anyone who doesn't get that reference, it's to do with where Aaron lives. There's lots of sheep, and no, it's not Wales.
I'm actually quite happy with myself, to be honest.
In what respect?
I say proud of myself, to be fair, because when I first met your niece, I did the Slimming World thing with my mum, mainly for her benefit. But like, I lost 2.5 stone, 3 stone on it.
All right, yeah.
Just like, so I've been like 10 stone or thereabouts for the past like 3-4 years. So I've gained 2 stone over the past like 3 months.
That's good because you've always looked slightly underweight for what you should be, really. So it's good because you look healthier for it too.
Yeah, thank you.
So because the problem is without that 2 stone, you kind of almost look like
too skinny. I can see my ribs and stuff.
Yeah, you know those skeletons they have in biology class.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, to be fair, there are people who naturally just look like them. And those people, that's fine. Not an issue with it because you just naturally look that way. But when somebody is underweight, which is what you were, it's not a healthy look.
Yeah, I mean, I've gained 2 stone, but I've lost inches. If that makes sense.
Excuse me.
Like around my waist.
Okay, that's what you need to be precise on. Yeah, it depends where you put on the weight though, because you can put.
I put on most of my weight in my upper body. To be fair.
Yeah, he had breast surgery. People, he's got boobies. Yeah.
Down the shoulders.
No, it's arm muscles and doing stuff with your arms because it increases your chest muscles and your traps and stuff. So.
Yeah, I gotta say my arms do feel like bigger. So I look at them and they're just like.
Well, it's all the moving stuff as well because that's gonna have done that too.
Yeah, it's just like I started to feel a bit uneven though because my left side's smaller than like my right side. If you look comparison.
It's because you do most of your stuff with the right one. That's why.
Yeah, so I started lifting TVs with this arm. Carrying the TVs on this arm instead of this arm.
That's fair enough. To be fair, I use both hands because I need to.
Yeah. Operating a camera is difficult work.
Yeah, doctor told me I should be careful lifting heavy loads.
She didn't tell me that, thankfully.
Well, there's a reason for that.
I'm used to it.
Or you just don't have a heavy load either way.
So, what do you think? Should I do one of these on here to give people an idea of what they see on stream if they come and witness?
I think you've not eaten anything that's going to react badly to it, have you?
No, just had Chinese.
Okay, that was the one thing I want to make sure because somebody I know earlier today did something and they mixed food wrongly and they ended up throwing up because of it. So
Yeah.
If you think it's safe to do so, then by all means. Plus, I get to poke fun at you for doing it, so that's a win-win for me.
Grape, blueberry, blackberry, grape.
Sure.
Sounds grape.
Yeah, you be careful, you. Otherwise, there'll be some wrath coming. Dum 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 da, da.
Doesn't look very appealing.
Is it really graping you? Yeah.
Doesn't smell like grape.
Yeah, all you do is wine, 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 wine. Is that your cum face? We can ask Kaylee next time I speak to her.
Oh no, I flipped it.
Oh, this is great. Best thing about this is I'm not doing it, so it's great.
Oh, huh.
And that's what you guys can make him do on his Twitch streams.
It's not sour anymore.
If you do enough of these points things, he's going to have to do multiple, so that'll be funny as hell.
But I don't know whether or not this is the same. But the one I had on, I think it was Wednesday. I thought it was over, so I just carried on sucking it.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the middle, it all burst open, and it had loads of sour sherbet in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And I was in the middle of a game. I was like, "Oh!"
Yeah, it could be the type you have, but that just sounds funny. But the main thing, ladies and gentlemen, is you've all got a preview of what Aaron's cum face looks like.
Nice.
So you guys can all compare notes with Kaylee and let her know. So, Aaron, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
And just remember, people, you can support Aaron's charity, which is Save the Children. But if you want to make him eat more of those sweets, this is where you do it. On these streams, Monday, Wednesday, Saturdays, other way. Point the other way. There you go. Everyone does that when they're on the shows because they're not used to doing it. So I've done it so much at this point, I just do it instinctively, so I don't even have to think about it anymore. But the first few times you ever do it, it's really hard to remember.
I always know that I'm going to do it wrong. I'm just like...
You've resigned yourself to the fact of you know it's wrong.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Kaylee! Aaron's doing it wrong. And she'll probably go, not for the first time. So, what I want to know though is when's the wedding outfit going to be ready?
Never.
Or would you rather have? Would you rather have that as an outfit?
I could pull that off.
Excuse me. Would you like to rephrase that?
I could make that work.
There you go. Just get some Skittles so that way you can taste the rainbow.
If
Well, it's either that or you get somebody to dye their pubic hair those colours.
Hmm.
And then fellatio.
Yikes.
Because then it's taste the rainbow, right?
Oh, you've got a sour bit in the middle.
You are so lucky I don't do vlogs or anything because that footage could have been straight up on one.
Oh, that's nasty.
Certainly can be. I thought they can be. Da, da,
Da, da, da, da, da.
da, 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 da. Well, that's much more sorted then.
I was going to ask you about your wedding packages.
About my witting,
Wedding packages.
that's a bit personal, isn't it?
I was asked to ask, so.
She made me do it. That's the excuse, isn't it? She made me do it, right?
One of them.
Well, one of the excuses or one of the people.
Well, excuses.
There you go. The other one is I'm autistic and yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find the excuses that will work for you.
I've known you for a long time. I've seen your work in person, and
I was like, how is that an excuse? That's a reason, not an excuse.
in a way, every excuse is a reason.
No, every reason is a reason, not every excuse is a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
I probably shouldn't do logic traps on Aaron because I think he's probably quite probably not up to it at this point in time. Yeah, I have to remember not to do logic traps on certain people. It's got nothing to do with intelligence, it's to do with the fact of not everyone's mind works that way.
No.
So, yeah, it's a thing because there's things people there's other things I won't be able to follow either. So I always bear that in mind with people because sometimes I'll be able to do things other people can't, and I have to remember. Oh, right, okay, yeah. But as to actually answer the question, Wedding packages are listed on my website. It says what they all are. The three major ones, anyway.
Yeah.
The best thing to do after that is if there's questions after that, just let me know. Obviously, in your case, you can just talk to me, but anyone else who's actually watching would have to like email because that's the best way to do it.
Of course.
Or use the contact form on the website because that will come through to me as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the benefit of actually knowing me means you can actually speak to me directly. It does make it easier. Not gonna lie. Because somebody we both know set up a wedding website earlier in the week to have the wedding stuff on. So you can probably guess who that was.
Yeah.
So but the thing is, though, if people are planning weddings and doing stuff like that, they should be excited about it. Why shouldn't they be? The idea is they're going to end up being with the person that they love. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I understand it much better than I do Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
But take it easy for you. If you don't know the website address, just go to my Instagram. It's on there.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it's pretty much listed on everything I use, so it does make it easier.
Oh, did you see Scarlett Bordeaux's match last week?
Sorry?
Did you see Scarlett Bordeaux's match last week?
It's been weird again.
Did you see Scarlett Bordeaux's match last week?
No.
It was good.
I've been busy. So, unfortunately. It's on my to-do list, but I haven't seen it yet. Because watching Scarlett Bordeaux wrestle is something I generally do like to do, because she's quite talented wrestler, to be clear. I mean wrestling. Yes, she's pretty, so what? Don't get me wrong, it helps, but she's still good at the wrestling. And just to prove a point here, okay, I think Sonya Deville's a good wrestler too. And for anyone who doesn't get the relevance of that, I am never going to be Sonya's type. I don't particularly fancy Sonya either, but I think she's a good wrestler. And I'm pretty sure she doesn't fancy me. I can probably say almost 99% certainty. And the reason it's not 100% is because there's always that 0.1% of chance of error.
Yeah.
Aaron's got his confused face on, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I've just seen a very, very, very pretty snake.
Stop looking at your penis and calling it a snake. It's creepy.
No. I sent Peter a picture of my snake.
You've literally sent me a picture, and I'm going to say what this is titled as for me, right? Balls of Fury, ball pythons. Okay.
Yep.
Let's see. I'm just waiting for this to get you picture loaded up.
Well, even Instagram doesn't give Becky Lita a chance at the chamber. It's sad
Not sure.
faces.
Yeah, I'm not sure how this will come across, but
I can't see.
no, I didn't think it would.
What is it? Oh,
Basically,
the snake menu.
yeah.
It's very pretty, isn't it?
It's just lots for those of you who obviously can't see the picture because I'm focused properly on here. It's just lots of different colours, and it is very nice and pretty. Because I wanted people snakes and spiders and stuff. I'm not bothered by the fact that what's listening and stuff. Don't care. Never have cared. You can like something and just like it. It doesn't have to mean anything. But it's all good fun. So I think as far as not in the general public goes, we should probably let those guys go. I think.
Yeah.
Would you like to impart any parting knowledge to them, promote anything before we disappear for them?
No.
Streams, maybe.
I'll see you guys on Monday, and Wednesday, and Saturday. And then next Sunday. More 50-50.
And what's happening on each of those days?
Monday we have Fortnite Fun Day. Wednesday we have We're Crafting Wednesday. And Saturday we have Zombie Slaughtering Saturdays.
And Sunday is me torturing him again.
But not next week, but the week after, we are doing a 12-hour gaming stream.
Yeah, to be clear, we're talking about Camera Colors Twitch here, not me.
Yeah, in aid of Save the Children. Okay, so if anybody wants to come watch, it will be on the 26th. A full 12 hours during the day, so it'll be whenever you guys want to come and watch or are available to watch, feel free to just pop in, even if it's for 5 minutes.
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll put up the UK times, and then people can probably work out from there. So, because for example, if you're an American, you live in the East Coast, it's we are 5 hours in front of you.
Yes.
And if you're an American on the West Coast, it's 8 hours.
To
give you guys an example.
Yep.
So, obviously, yes, I do know there's other countries in the world, but those tend to be the bigger demographics when it comes to gaming stuff, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So, if somebody happens to be viewing from Russia, they are 3 hours in front of us. So, to be fair, right? And if you're in Australia, you're in the future. Congratulations, and it's anywhere between 21 to 23 hours in front.
Yeah.
So yeah, usually go as a other day. Anyway, those are Aaron's things, and we will let you know more about that 12-hour gaming stream as we get closer to it as well. And then Aaron can also give us details to what they might be playing and stuff like that as well.
Oh, it's only going to be Cold War zombies.
And possibly let us know who else may be involved and stuff like that. Details and stuff.
Yep.
Okay, so that's Aaron covered. I would literally be recovering from my throat and be doing more photography work because that's how I make a living. And and be doing obviously the skin next Sunday as well. And with that one, people, we will let you all go and you can all have fun. For those of you curious about what I thought about Dynamite, because I probably should get to this before we disappear. I fucking hate the Bullet Club. Jay White can fuck off. We already covered Keith Lee. I liked Keith Lee. Keith Lee's great.
the whole
What?
mystique about Adam Cole going into business on himself. Is anybody actually surprised?
No.
Nope.
I just hope Keith Lee throws the fucker about 700 miles. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, people are very well aware of I do not like Adam Cole. I don't like I've never liked the Undisputed Era, and I don't like the Bullet Club.
Mm-hmm.
So, these are most new opinions for people. People should be aware of this already. So, but that pretty much covers that anyway. So, for anyone who is interested in Jay White, I don't know what the fuck he would be, but he's got a wrestling. He's actually got a match next week on Rampage against Trent Barretta. So, yeah.
Yeah, that should be interesting. It'd be interesting to watch that.
Well, I'm glad it interests someone. It doesn't interest me though, because I don't fucking like Jay White. I think he's a useless twat.
Oh yeah.
It's not a popular opinion, but I don't care. If the only way you can get over is by being a member of Bullet Club, then you ain't over. The only reason you have a career is because of Finn Balor and Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, and
AJ Styles.
no, he's not an original member. And Bad Luck Farley, the 4 original members.
Yeah.
All the rest of you Bullet Club fuckers, that's who you owe your any sort of success from in that regard. AJ was a big deal before Bullet Club, so he doesn't really count. For those of you wondering.
Did you see the sign at AEW Dynamite?
I saw quite a few signs. You're going to have to be a bit more specific.
Free Ali.
Oh, yeah, that one. That's one of my favourites. I like seeing that sign.
Yeah.
I think it should actually say Free Ali, the Fabulous He, because I think it'd be better.
Yeah.
But I'm picky like away. But I do like the fact there's Free Ali signs. I actually think it'd be fun to have them, like people in the crowds with signs saying "Free the WWE One." But you know, I like thinking of things like that because I think it's funny. But yeah, that is such bullshit. Let him out his fucking contract, for God's sake. I mean, you know, if you're not going to use him, let him go. What's the point?
Yeah.
Because he's the kind of guy.
They've realised that they fucked off all of the next generation of talent that they had.
Yeah. I mean, the case with Ali as well. He's the kind of guy they could have put on this Saudi show as well. Because the Saudis like Ali too.
I haven't heard anything about Mansoor in the show either.
I noticed that too, yeah. I would think he'd be there though.
Probably last minute kickoff show.
He'll probably just come out for like an interview and talk to the crowd, you know, something like that. Somebody will come out.
There's one slot not filled for the Raw Women's Championship #1 contender match.
I actually know. Okay, apart from you joking there, I actually do have a legitimate thing he could actually do.
All right.
You remember the Falls Count Anywhere match?
Yeah.
He could have a lighter part in that.
Yeah.
Because you know for a fact that, you know, it's not going to stay one-on-one because, you know, the other people involved. Someone's going to have to help Drew, right?
Yeah.
There you go. And he's the hometown boy, you see, so it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So whether they'll do it, I don't know, but I think that's probably what's most likely. Although I kind of like the idea of him being in the Raw Women's Championship match, but that's another thing entirely.
I reckon it'll be Sarah Logan filling in the last spot on the Elimination Chamber match.
Yeah, but But her appearance in the Rumble was a one-off thing, so
Oh, I didn't realise that.
She's not signed to anything. It was literally just a one and done. So if they could get back for it, then maybe, but not to my knowledge anyway. Knowing then they can always do double duty and have somebody in that tag match end up in the thing as well.
Mm.
I mean, there's many things they could actually do. It's just whether they do them or not. I would say if they had any female Saudi talent, they could use them. But what was I thinking? Anyway, people, we should probably let you go now before we get diverted onto more things because I'm sure it'll come up. But we will probably talk about next week. We'll touch upon the Saudi matches, but we won't go into great details about it because it's a Saudi show. But if anything's relevant, then obviously we will touch upon it. Yeah. But in the meantime, hopefully we get an idea of why Sonya hates Naomi. That would be nice. I'm not holding my breath waiting for that one, though. We'd all be dead if we had them. And until the day that Michael Cole can call a Ronda Rousey, is that Ronda Rousey?
You get a rounder to it.
Yeah, maybe one of these days. And you never know. She might end up winning a championship match in the middle of a championship match.
Maybe.
Well done, Michael Cole. Well done, you fucking goofball. And with that one, people, we will see you soon. Bye-bye.